What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gersh1!
And today we're back to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Galissa did. He asks, or she asks, if orcs get bigger the more they fight and win, how big can they get? Also, could an orc ever beat the Emperor in combat if he had been fighting for thousands and thousands of years? So the first one is, they can get pretty big. They can get, I think the beast was as big as a 2-story house or something like that.
Yeah, they were massive.
they were, yeah. So they get darker. So it's probably like a pitch black orc who's like, the size of it'd be basically King Kong.
Yeah.
It'd be like a bunch of King Kong orcs.
That's scary. Imagine all the spores killing one would do.
Exactly. So I wonder how that works, though. Do they just have more spores to release, or are the spores just giant? Maybe that's how squigots are birthed. And then you also have to remember, like, everything else that comes with an orc, so the bad smell, the aggression, it gets, doubled, tripled, quadrupled with these massive orcs. So the stench must be horrendous for one of those giant orcs.
But I'm pretty sure they'd be like hunted in order for their teeth. Because, I mean, imagine how much a tooth would be in their currency.
That is true. Like, whenever a knob that big gets killed, like, the teeth must
What are
cash.
the ones that are all about money called?
The
tribe?
Deaf Guns. No, they're Bad Moons.
Bad Moons, there you go.
Usually it's going to be the Goths, though, that get that big.
Right, because they're the bigger, the more aggressive ones.
Yeah. And then could an orc ever beat the Emperor? I don't think so. The Emperor has plot armor.
Even though he's like the Emperor in his prime, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think that's what he means, yeah, because during the Battle of Olenor, or the Conquest of Olenor, I forgot what it's called, he did battle, like, the Tyrant of Olenor, and he defeated him, and that was supposed to be the biggest, baddest orc around. I'm pretty sure that the Emperor at his prime versus Godskull Mag Urth Thraka, Thraka wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah, the Emperor will win pretty much against anybody.
Yeah. Next question.
This one is by the Jabbericks. Keeping it in the same theme as the orcs, were the Krork the same species as orc, or are they a separate species that evolved into orcs?
I used to really want to think that they were a separate species, like they were the Brain Boys or whatever, but no, they're just orcs. Just orcs were a little more civilized back then when they fought for the Old Ones.
And speaking of Old Ones, Unmitigated Randomness asks, what would happen if an orc met an Old One?
They'd shake hands. Next question comes from RoboHat. How much fun is the tabletop Warhammer 40K game? So much fun, you're gonna orgasm at least twice, as long as you have the appropriate amount of command points.
That's true. When you run out of command points, you're pretty much on the defensive, I feel.
You're flaccid the entire game.
Mm-hmm. But no, like, it's a fun game. Just make sure you're playing with somebody who's equally into it. Because if you're playing with, like, a tryhard, like, they're going to take the fun out of it.
Or if you're two noobs in the game, like, it's very challenging to get all the rules down. Mm-hmm. When we first started playing 8th edition, and I think it took like 2 games before I was like, okay, yeah, this is fun.
Right, because like it was mostly like, oh, let me go to this page. What does this do? I'm shooting at you. What are your abilities?
Yeah, and like you said, it has to be with the right people, and not just like don't play with the tryhard, but don't play with somebody who's just who's not into like the lore, the battle, like that kind of stuff. We played with a friend. I remember Tommy. He was yawning and he was like, "Come on, man."
He's just like, "I guess I'll move him here."
Yeah.
Put a little strategy into it.
Yep.
Like, have fun. Don't just move pieces.
Go to a hobby store and find somebody that will play with you. But just be careful, because people in hobby stores they're weird.
I'm weird. That's why I'm there.
Yeah. People start yelling at you because you're doing something wrong. It's like, this is my first time. Anyways, next question comes from 1975 Steelers fan. Is it possible for a dreadnought from a Traitor Legion to have slept through the Horus Heresy and wake up in the 41st millennium? Yeah, why not?
I mean, you could go into the warp before and come out after and be like, whoa, what happened?
What are those?
It'd be like Jumanji, what year is it?
Yeah. The dreadnought has a beard. It's, what's his name?
Robin Williams.
Yeah. Too soon. Next question comes from Wookie810. Which elite unit can beat a group of Necron Lynch Guards? If you're lucky, any of them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing on the tabletop, pretty much anybody. If you're talking lore-wise, they are really tough to beat. They're like the elite of the elite. You got the shields that nothing's going to go past them. And you've got their phase weapons, which their weapons are so strong, you can shoot them with like a las cannon, and the Necron will be completely destroyed, but his weapon will still stand. That's crazy.
Scary.
It is. Imagine if they're made out of that weapon. But that's too OP.
Next question.
Marcel Goussard. What would happen if an Astartes and a Sororita fell in love? Would they be hunted by the Inquisition because feelings are heresy?
I don't think it's possible for a Space Marine to feel
love. Well, at least to fall in love.
Like intimate love. All he cares about is war. He is a tool of war.
Yeah, it's like there's no room to fall in love because you're too busy fighting for the Emperor and doing your holy, well, not holy duties, but doing your Space Marine duties.
Right. Next question comes from Moser Hodes 1. When orcs make technological devices, how long does it take them? For instance, when an orc makes it to an asteroid with the intention of turning it into a rock, how long does it take said orc to produce that rocket to assist with steering? Also, what color is the Tau blood? Love all you guys do. Keep up the great work. Thanks. It depends on the orc. It depends on the technology. From what I could remember of the story of God School, it took them a couple months to gather everything they could to leave God School's homeworld and go conquer the galaxy. So, a couple months.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on what world they're on, what resources are available. It depends.
Yeah, and then what color is Tau blood?
I don't know, because I've seen green, I've seen red, I've seen dark blue. I guess it depends.
It depends. Next question.
Bartosz Tomaszewski, sorry if I butchered that. Is there a planet which stands a chance against a fully awakened Necron tomb? For example, Terra, Macragge, or any Xenos world?
Yeah, you mentioned them.
Well, I mean, yeah, because you've heard of battles where the Necrons completely demolish the Space Marines. You've heard of battles where Space Marines come out on top. I think it depends on what perspective you're looking on. Because if you're reading a book about it in the Space Marine Codex, obviously the Space Marines are going to read. If you read about a battle in the Necron Codex, the Necrons most likely are going to win.
And it depends on the position too, because if the humans settled that planet and that tomb world fully awakens, I don't think the humans are gonna stand a chance. But if it's Terra has been fortified for thousands and thousands of years.
I mean, Terra is the most heavily fortified place because you got the Emperor there.
Yep, and then you have Trazen the Infinite, who has an army and he sends his army to Terra. I don't think that the Necrons would stand a chance against Terra, because it's not their home world. It's not their backyards basically. Whereas if you are a tomb world, you everything is underground for you. You know everything.
But in a way, the whole galaxy used to be their backyard. That's why they went into slumber, to allow all the races to build back up.
Well, not necessarily like Terra though, because that theory that Necrons lived or were on Terra, I don't think is true because of the
old one tech.
The Golden Throne. Yeah. But it depends.
Yeah.
Next question. I have one from Alvaro Hernani. If there was something similar to the internet, how would the Imperium manage it? Will it be something heretical?
I mean, I think there already is something internet-like. I mean, it's kind of hard to, avoid or completely control a population.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, there's always going to be regulation to it. Even if you go into, like, the deep dark web, there's pretty much, like, tech priests and stuff like that.
The interesting part about that is that, like, the internet works with us, like, here because it's Earth. But I don't think that the internet would work...
Like interplanetary?
Yeah, so the way that 40K does it is they use astropathic signals, which can travel through the warp, and they get to like different planets a lot quicker. It still takes a long time. But with that said, I think the internet, the way we use it and the way we have it, could not exist in 40K just because of the separation of each planet.
Interesting.
Yeah. As a whole. I'm pretty sure there's pleasure worlds with like broadband.
Broadband.
Next question.
This one's an interesting one by Edward Mitchell. Do you guys think that Primarchs could end up not being traitors, but just renegades? And if so, who?
Yeah. I would say...
I feel like Primarchs are too dedicated to their cause, which is good and bad. So if they're completely dedicated to the Emperor, obviously they're not going to go renegade. But you could have somebody like Ferrus Manus, or not Ferrus Manus, Lehman Russ, because he went against the Codex Astartes. He had his own ideas for his warriors, his people, and with like the introduction of the Wolfen, I think he might stray away from the Imperium to kind of find a cure for that. And I guess that would make him renegade because he's not 100% following the Imperium. But again, I think there's still going to be some portion of them still loyal to the Emperor.
Yep. I think Vulcan... Well, because like the way I would see it is like if Vulcan... Because do you know how they all went on their little quests or whatever? And then they come back. Like what if they found something or they were tricked by Tzeentch or something along those lines, and then they come back and like,
It's like, yeah, I can't do this, so I gotta step away from the Imperium.
Yeah, it's something like that, yeah. So, I mean, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Alucard Tepes. This will be our last question. He has a really good one, though. He says, who would you cast as the Big E, or the Emperor, in a Warhammer 40K movie? I would do Guilford Godfrey.
I was an English woman the other day. I couldn't tell if she was sick with the plague or if she was just an English woman.
There's a documentary on Hulu, I believe. Yeah, Hulu. Or is it HBO? I think it's Hulu. It's on Guilford Godfrey, and it's really good. You should check it out. It's only like an hour and a half long. And it's a really good bio.
Interesting. I saw the episode with him, and I think it was like Wife Swap or something like that. So
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was like, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago.
Who would you cast as the...
Probably Danny DeVito. I feel like he brings that presence. He'll be like, hey.
He would be a good corpse. Because that's really what you're doing, right?
I guess, yeah.
You're just casting a corpse.
No, but in all seriousness, I think a good cast for him would probably be somebody along the lines of like, I want to say Bruce Willis, but at the same time I don't, because like you get the badassness. He is getting kind of old in age, so he's kind of got the wisdom and stuff. I mean, he looks nothing like what the Emperor looks like in the pictures and stuff. But I feel like him as an actor could probably give the Big E some power.
Yeah, what's his name? The guy from Game of Thrones, the dad who died, Stark.
Ned Stark or
that actor.
Sean Bean.
That actor's, yeah. He I think he has that face of like the father figure. The only thing is that he's not. He doesn't have black hair, and I think the Emperor had black hair.
Yeah, he could always dye it, but like
it would look kind of weird, right? If you think about it.
I don't know. Has he ever had black hair in a movie? I can't picture him.
Cause it was like brown.
Yeah.
So.
But like they could always dye their hair for like roles. But yeah, I could see that.
Yep. And those were the questions for today. Thank you for sending them our way. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Don't forget we have a Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. We ask you guys, because if you watch the video for this long, it means you love us.
Or you got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
This is the Sound Alchemist,
Gershwan.
and we are out of here.
Oh, if you could put my freedom back.